Positivism and social engineering are the great idols that indirectly provoked all the conflicts, genocide, etc. that devastated humanity in the 20th century. Therefore, it is my responsibility to express to you my criticism of positivism. You will find my criticism in my article, Método y crisis en la ciencia económica. Hayek refers to positivism as scientism. Please write down scientism. And he defines it as follows. He says that scientism is the indiscriminate and undue application of the method of the natural sciences to the field of economics and the social sciences, of human action. Why is there a desire to apply the method of physics and the natural sciences to the sphere of human action and economics, when it's now so obvious, in light of all we've said, that an abyss separates the world of human beings from the world of plants? Well, there are many reasons. Economists have always had an inferiority complex with respect to natural scientists. Economists have watched as bridges were built, man walked on the moon, and illnesses were eradicated. And it frustrates economists that they can't do the same. Be engineers of a sort, who with their knowledge and will, and with the power of the state, would solve every problem. So, dazzled by the illusion that copying the method of physicists would enable them to achieve the same results, economists insist on applying to their own field a method that is foreign to it, and the consequences for society are disastrous. Indeed, I repeat, all the conflicts, wars and genocide that have afflicted humanity, all you can imagine, have sprung from this methodological error. For ideas ultimately drive the world. Also, there is a social demand from citizens themselves who cry, "Papa State, solve my problems. From the time I'm born till they lay me in my grave, I want everything to be worked out for me." We rebel. We've talked about this in class already. We rebel against our own creative entrepreneurial nature. The uncertainty of the future makes us dizzy. We want guarantees, certainties, assurances. We turn our backs on our own nature. We demand and insist that social engineers sort out our lives. Notice what a vicious cycle that is. We rebel against our own nature. It's like when an organism has the most serious kind of disease an organism can have, when our immune system breaks down and our body's own defense system attacks our body. Such diseases are the most serious. Well, that also happens on a social level. We rebel against our creative nature, against the dizziness we feel at the uncertain future, and we demand someone organize our lives from above with coercive commands, which systematically conflicts with and ultimately destroys the process of social cooperation, as we will see in this course. Well, this has been a digression about the sociology of science, about why we again and again succumb to the crudest scientificism. According to Gregorio Marañón, who belonged to the Spanish Royal Academy, the appropriate term in Spanish is cientificismo, rather than scientismo. In my books I use scientismo. It's kind of a Hispanicized version of the word Hayek uses, scientism. Marañón defines scientificismo as both the belief that one has scientific expertise one does not have and the insistence on applying it. All who aspire to such an outrage are scientificistas, scientificists. Therefore, scientificism is the main manifestation of this positivism. Positivists defend what we will call methodological monism. Monism derives from the Greek monos, meaning single, alone. According to scientificists and positivists, there is only one scientific method, only one sole method, and it is applied equally, whether the field be physics, chemistry, the natural sciences, or the sciences of human action. They recognize no difference between human beings and bacteria, and therefore the same method that is applied in the laboratory to study a rock or a chemical compound, or to dissect a cadaver, must also be applied to human beings who act. That's what is called methodological monism. It collides with the proper perspective, which is based on methodological dualism, two radically different methods, one for the natural sciences and another for the social sciences.
Y otro para las ciencias sociales.
Not only do positivists and scientificists claim that there is no difference between the social and the natural sciences, and that the method used should be the same in both, but they also criticize axioms.
Critican los axiomas.
They view all a prioristic axiomatic knowledge as metaphysics. Notice meta means beyond in Greek, so metaphysics means beyond physics. Positivists and scientificists see physics as the queen of the sciences, and because they consider it to be the quintessential science, they describe all axiomatic knowledge as metaphysics. In other words, unscientific, outside of science. I'm telling you this so you will be on your guard. Also, scientificists and positivists are generally determinists and materialists. Do you remember our pyramid, our hierarchical classification of orders? We talked about it yesterday or the day before yesterday. Well, scientificists and positivists believe that the simple orders determine the complex spiritual orders, that relationships flow from the bottom up, and not, as we were saying, from the top down. In fact, we criticized determinism. We said it could not be applied to itself, that the deterministic criterion could not be applied to determinists. If everything is determined, then your idea that everything is determined is itself determined, and therefore it lacks any scientific value. Furthermore, we said that the deterministic view is ultimately absurd, because we cannot possibly conceive of a world devoid of the principle of free will. How on earth could all our action be determined by nothing more than basic physical stimuli from the outside world? By what we have seen, by the light that has hit us, by what we have drunk, etc. I mention this because there is a battle raging here, a battle to the death. Either we are right or the others are right, and the implications for the process of social cooperation are very grave. Either it is true that human beings are like bacteria, that social engineers can manipulate society like Play-Doh, that one sole method, the same one, should be applied to physics, to technology, to engineering, as well as to society, and that the basic elements of the world of physics are what determine spiritual relationships and human action. Either the truth lies with that approach, or it lies with the correct approach, which I am explaining here, and which I defend. I hold that there is an enormous, essential difference between human beings and all other entities in the world of nature. That for some reason, human beings are endowed with an innate creative capacity which makes their future uncertain. That historical events are extremely complex, because human creative capacity excludes constants. That we must have a prior theory. That this theory cannot be derived from real events. Therefore, methodological dualism is a requirement we cannot waive as social scientists. And scientism, positivism, and social engineering are very grave errors which have caused, and now cause, and always will cause the most catastrophic consequences in society, whenever the attempt is made to implement them. Whenever we wish to manipulate society from above, as if we were social engineers, we destroy the process of social cooperation. For the basic elements are not atoms, rocks, or organs, but precisely human beings endowed with an innate capacity for creativity.